And today we look a little bit different because, Thailand is under a little bit out of normal situation, and we try our best
Right.
to adhere to the government advice to stay at home. So most of us will be working from home. That means most of us will also do our news program at home.
So today we'll be doing the show live from home as well. So we'll begin tonight with the latest on the COVID-19 situation in Thailand. And a few hours ago, the Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha held a televised announcement to announce more restrictions in light of the recent COVID-19 outbreak, which has now more than 10,000 infections already. And he has confirmed that no curfew nor lockdown will be imposed from now on. And at the same time, the Prime Minister has urged the public not to panic. And he also explained that a lockdown was imposed during the first outbreak because it was necessary, although it highly affected the economy. But later on, Thailand was highly praised globally for handling the pandemic.
Yes, he also plead for the retired medic in Thailand that for the inoculation program right now that they said that they don't really have enough personnel. So he said that he would love for he didn't use the word love, but he plead
Right.
for the retired medic and all these doctors and nurses, professionals to prepare themselves to help with the inoculation program once the country receive more vaccines.
Definitely. So basically, he's urging more medics to get vaccinated. And as we've been hearing that there has been reports that there are shortage of medical personnel as well as equipment. So he made the sort of remark so that if more medics are vaccinated, they will be able to help out other hospitals that are in need of the medics as well. In the same press conference, he also explained that the recent outbreak has proven what will happen if people lower their guards. And he also said that he's still glad that more than 90% of people still wear face masks when they're going outside. However, he's quite worried that people are not really complying with social distancing where people are so close together and go to large gatherings and all these places.
Yes, and about the vaccine, I think because there's a lot of people complain about how slow we rolled out, the country roll out, or how slow we get people vaccinated. So he talked about it back and forth quite a lot. In his speech today, he was talking about how the Thai government is actually being in contact with the Russian government to talk about maybe Sputnik will be another option for Thai government to buy, and also Pfizer. And he said that he doesn't want people to. He said there's a lot of misunderstanding among the public when some people listen to something on social media. He wasn't specify what it was or which information, which piece of information he was referring to. But then he go back to the vaccine again. So we can assume that he probably talking about when people uh, criticize the government about the inoculation plan and how the government acquired all these vaccines. And he said there is some kind of legal issues because it's the emergency approved vaccines by the WHO. So it can only be trade. It can only be acquired from government to government, and the private sector cannot just import it themselves. And because it is has to be government to government. Once the government import it, government also cannot sell it to the private sector in the country as well. So he said that what the government can do is once they have more vaccines available, they can get the private hospitals and medical institutions to help with the inoculation program.
And in regards with the lockdown and the curfew, well, let me put it this way. He mentioned that the recent restrictions that have been imposed before, he admits during the press conference that he is hurt after having to impose the restrictions, as it really affects everyone's livelihood, especially those with low income. And many of the decisions were very difficult to make, but he tried his best to listen to everyone, and it is his job to solve the problem. As we've been mentioning, we've been reporting that although there have been lockdowns or restrictions have been imposed, it has highly affected many of the businesses, especially those with lower income, because they have to make a living. And when they impose the restrictions, they couldn't do anything and they have no income.
Yes, he also said that he referred to some other countries that have like 10,000 of people die every day. So he said Thailand is still in a better situation, so it's not that bad yet. But he made this thing though, this statement though. He said Thailand has to win. I remember last time, if you remember last time when he was having the big televised address about COVID-19, he also said something like, we will win. So this is pretty much similar kind of statement, but this time said, we have to win.
And another special remark he made is that Thai people should be proud of themselves in fully complying with the previous measures that have been imposed to prevent the spread of COVID-19, which he considered it to be very special because it's something that people are willing to comply right here.
Yes, he also defend his decision, I guess, because there's a lot of criticism of some of his decision, whether it's a lockdown plan, inoculation plan, some restriction and such. He said every decision he's made, he has necessary information and advice from the expert in the field on the medical professional and things like that. So he said he didn't make all this decision on his own. So he tried to make sure that the public understand where all this decision came from.